Get ready. It's time. Christina, Catherine, Lisa, Amy, and Lauren. Welcome to the Cimorelli podcast.
Hey, I'm Christina.
I'm Amy.
I'm Lauren. And we're Cimorelli.
Mostly.
And this is our mother,
Lynn.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Sorry, thank you.
Welcome back to our guest of this week and last week.
Yes, because Catherine and Lisa are both out with various ailments. So we traded them for us. And Lauren's been going strong.
And if you hear any babies, it's Tristan, my
She's so
daughter.
Cute.
She's just finding her voice, which is actually, what we're going to talk about today. But she's finding hers.
Oh.
Works for the topic. This is episode 148. Woohoo! This is fully on YouTube and Patreon, so welcome. If you would like to join our Patreon, it's $5 a month, and you get every single episode we've ever done of our podcast, because we used to do fully on Patreon and then fully on YouTube, but now we do fully on YouTube and half on YouTube and then half on Patreon. I don't know where my brain went. Anyway, every episode it goes fully on YouTube, then half on YouTube, then fully on YouTube, but all fully on Patreon. So join our Patreon if that sounds enticing to you and you want to help us keep the lights on here at the Cimorelli podcast. Today we're talking about a journey of sorts. And this journey is a journey of finding yourself, finding your voice, much like our lovely young Tristan. You know?
Yes.
That's what we'll be speaking about today. And she's just trying to encourage us in our topic.
We're going to talk about times when we feel like we lost ourselves. We weren't being fully our authentic selves. We were lost. And then times we were found.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this was my topic idea. And I want to do this with our mom because I feel like a lot of women, it's you kind of, your whole identity can just be your kids for so long. And then at a certain point, you kind of have to realize oh, wait, I'm my own person, have my own life too. So I kind of really just wanted to hear her speak on that.
Yeah.
She wants to hear her speak on that.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that. But before we do that, we are going to start with our
Highs and lows, people.
the
Woo!
his and the laws.
You win some, you lose some.
All right. What were your wins and what were your losses?
Dang. Oh, okay. Well, my high, I guess. Yeah. My high is that I had a nice dinner with my friend yesterday. We went to this really good Sorry. We went to this really good Mediterranean restaurant. Girl.
Ooh, sounds
You
good.
gotta. Oh, so good. I had a falafel pita thing
Love
to
it.
die for.
Love it.
The flavors were just flavoring in every great direction. And their sodas were super good. They were more natural sodas, I guess. And they were just
From the ground.
Yes. Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
I love it when they've just dug up that soda stream.
Yes, exactly.
From organic soil.
But it was it tasted different from regular sodas. So I just feel
Was
it
it
tasted like it had
Italian soda.
no, mate, I don't know. It just tasted like it had less chemical
Cane
things
sugar.
in it. I don't know.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed it, and it was a very good meal and a great chat. And yeah, I don't know what my low is. Probably that, much like our gal Lauren, I do have a lingering cough as well.
It's tough.
You tell them, T, from a cold that I had 2 weeks ago. It never fully went away, the cough.
Weird.
And I didn't even cough that much during the cold. I coughed more after. It was a very strange cold. And my mom was like, this is a cold. I'm like, but what if it's not? And she's like, no, it is.
What if it's not?
I'm like, okay.
What could happen to me?
So, yeah, that was a low because I haven't been sick in 6 months to brag. So, yeah.
Wow, that's good.
I know.
I really have to say, I think carbonation is just not for me.
Oh, it's
Why
so
is that?
good.
I
feel like everyone in the world likes carbonation. Why? I try. I'll be like, ooh, this sparkling water. Or this kind of soda. There's this blueberry soda.
Ooh.
And I was just like, like the flavor of blueberry is great, but just like the carbonation, bleh,
I feel like without carbonation, it kind of tastes like Kool-Aid or something. Like,
which I like.
Okay. I guess like Gatorade's good.
Lemonade, Gatorade,
Okay.
that stuff, all have that. I don't want.
I like the carbonation.
Yeah, the carbonation. It's just like
pop. Okay.
It's like, why is it spicy?
It's like a
But there is something just so magical about root beer and pizza.
Agree.
You know what?
It's a
Me as a
classic.
child, like a young child, can agree in that somewhere along the line, I just started to hate it.
I don't know. Well, I think that Lisa doesn't like carbonation that much either.
Yeah, I'm like, what is it though? People are like
Does
obsessed.
it like unsettle your stomach?
No, it's just like people are obsessed with their like soda every day. It sounds like such a joyous part of their life. I'm like, I don't have that joy.
It's probably good, you know.
Yeah, it is probably good.
Obsess
Count
over
your
soda
blessings.
every day.
It's not good for you. So
I can
do.
obsess over
One
other
habit you
things,
won't
but
have
yeah.
to
I used to
break.
have a nightly
Anyway.
root beer for a phase. It was so fun.
I digress.
And one time I FaceTimed Rachel and we had a nightly root beer together.
Did you try the probiotic root beer?
No, but I should.
It does not
Wow.
sound good.
No, everyone talks about
Is this
how they're
Poppy
so
or whatever?
good. Yeah, have you tried those?
Or I think there's
No,
like
more.
a
It's
Kroger
not-
brand too.
There's a there's a Kroger brand. There's Ollie Pop, and there's another one.
I
forgot what it's
tried
called.
one of these and it was bad.
Which flavor was
Someone was lying.
Which flavor? Which
I don't
flavor?
remember.
Those are cute
It
on
was a
their
while
text.
ago. Maybe they got better.
You should try it.
Okay, I'll try it.
Because they're good,
I do
apparently,
like
for you.
kombucha.
Well, you do like the cream soda one, right?
Okay, yeah. I just don't like
I
the
feel like it
carbonation.
need
I
to
got over it.
be fruit flavored.
There's like a strawberry vanilla.
I love strawberry vanilla.
There's a lemon lime, and there's like a root beer one. You should
Okay,
just try it.
Okay. I'll
Anything
give
that's
it a
strawberry
whirl.
vanilla, I love.
Anyway,
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done. We're out.
all right,
okay.
and
okay.
next.
Man, I just forgot. Oh, my high. Oh, I can't remember. My high is that my man spontaneously had some snacks and flowers delivered to my very own door the other day.
He
Wait,
always
that's
does
so
all these
cute.
cool deliveries.
He loves the
they are
delivery.
cool deliveries because he's like, ooh, he finds some random stuff I never had before, and he's like, ooh, try this snack.
He's
Ooh,
like,
try
hey,
that.
I handmade this wood sculpture 6 months ago, and I've been planning for it to be delivered to your door 6 months later.
Not
he
quite.
did that something like that before.
He did make a wood
Just saying.
sculpture thing, but
So
that
he
was
has
for
all these
Christmas.
cool, unexpected
Wait, that's
deliveries.
so cute.
He does, yeah. So
Oh, one time
It's so fun.
he put a gift under our Christmas tree, and we didn't take it down until like April. So we found a gift
well,
under
he
our
hid
Christmas
it
tree.
under the
Oh
skirt of the
my
tree. So
God,
I
it was so
find it.
magical.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah, it was
Wow,
nice.
that's
So that
cool.
was nice. He hasn't
That was
done that in a
really
while
cute.
though. So I was like, about time.
Not to add him, but like we still have a case of like energy drinks that he got you that we never
Oh,
had from
'cause-
like August.
They just, I didn't like that like fake sugar thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was nice. A nice brightening.
Yeah, that's
of
really
my
sweet.
day.
Good for
That's
you.
that. Thanks.
Yeah. thanks.
And then my low was randomly the other night. I could not sleep. I was up till 3 a.m. Like,
What?
and I was tired, but I just couldn't sleep. I think I was stressed. I don't know. But it
Oh
wasn't
my
like I was
gosh.
having some panic till 3 a.m. It was just
Wait,
like,
were you just laying there and you couldn't sleep?
yeah,
For
I was
how
laying
long
there
did you
watching
lay?
TV.
That's why.
I don't know, since night.
Oh, it's hard to
Wait,
sleep
you
when you're
watched
watching
TV till
something.
3?
Yeah.
Oh, I get that.
No,
get
but
that.
I usually fall asleep while watching stuff.
It ain't right.
Okay, that freaks out 'cause lately I've been doing that and it's really.
Well, I turn it off.
Get into that.
well, it's downstairs on the couch, so
Just
I have to
listen
wake
to
up and go
something.
upstairs.
Well, it's like I close my eyes, they start closing, and then once I realize like a noise kind of shocks me, I'm like, all right, I'm actually going to sleep. And then I close my laptop and I go to sleep, okay? I didn't say it was good. I'm just saying it's what I did. So I was up till 3, and then I woke up at like 7, and I just didn't sleep, and it was bad.
Rip.
So
yikes.
that was my low.
3 that's really not much.
I know.
That's really not much. Okay. Let's see. Well, with the sickness thing, I could say my low was my children were sick. Well, that wasn't this week. That was like a couple weeks ago. But
Still, that low carries on.
But I wasn't here for that episode to say that low, so I should say that low.
Yeah.
When you guys filmed, I wasn't here for that episode last
we
week.
did great episodes without you.
And
no
they
offense.
got you sick,
You did?
didn't they?
Okay. I did
Well,
help
it was
plan them.
without you too, right?
Yeah,
did
I was
help plan.
sad. That was the
that's
first time I've
good.
ever missed a podcast episode in our
couldn't believe it.
140 something
Wow.
episodes. I've never missed any until then.
That's impressive.
Everyone always says, "Oh my gosh, the energy is so different without any time any of us."
Because
Yeah.
it's just a whole different dynamic.
oh,
It is.
Your outfits, everyone was commenting. They're like, wow,
Yeah,
I
the
know.
that's
fat
I was
shit.
like, wow.
But anyway, so yeah, that was my low. That they were sick was really annoying, and then I was sick. Just stupid. So that was really annoying. My high is that I'm in my postpartum health journey right now.
Love it.
Finally, and I would say it's going very well.
Good.
Even though I keep getting derailed, it's still going well. I keep being derailed.
You know what? That is
life.
respectable though, okay? Because you can't just expect, oh, I'm just gonna do this every day and nothing will ever happen.
Oh my
It's like
gosh.
you get derailed, but you just keep
get
getting
back
back on
up.
the track.
That's why I
you
feel
have
so
to just
good.
keep going. Yeah,
Because I keep
love
being
it.
derailed and I keep getting right back.
I love it.
Good for you.
So that's a major high for me. I feel good, like, wow, really have some plans, really going places.
Love that.
So what are your highs and lows? Oh, wow. Lovely periwinkle. Is this periwinkle? What'd you say?
It's ish, yeah.
Wait, I gotta look up periwinkle. Keep
No, this is periwinkle. That's the
Well, I
color.
feel like periwinkle's a little lighter and a little more
Isn't
purple.
that like the puppy on
Saying.
Blue's Clues or something?
So let's see. I have a few highs, but let's see. I'll just pick one.
Yep.
I got like an 8-page letter from Christian.
Oh, that's cute.
That was a huge
pages.
high. Yeah, it was a wonderful letter. I was just
What?
like,
About
wow.
what?
How did he write?
He didn't give me a
Was he
letter.
writing
Kinds of
like,
stuff, yeah.
You're
he's
not
like,
his
here's
mom?
my theory
I'm not
on
his
this.
mom, true.
Oh, there's always theories on a lot of
that's
things.
Wait,
He
that's
was writing you
so
like a
cute.
college essay, basically.
No, it was a personal letter. There was a lot of personal stuff. I was like bawling my eyes out. It was a really good letter. I was like,
Aw,
wow.
baby
this is
gorgeous.
a
That's
cool
pretty
letter.
shocking.
Yeah, I know, right? It was pretty cool.
That's so
And
cute.
then my
That's a good high.
low was that I found out Joey has to get surgery on his throat. So that's
What?
like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah.
When?
Next week.
What? Never mind. We'll talk about it later.
So yeah. So that
Sorry.
was kind of a bummer, you know.
That is really sad. Is he okay?
Well, he'd be better next week after it's over.
Good, good, good.
It's a big yikes.
That is a yikes, but at least it'll be solved.
Yeah, hopefully that'll be all good for that.
Yep.
Stay tuned for more health updates.
Yeah, what is wrong with our family?
I don't know.
Anyway, on to our next segment.
Yeah, I have a nodule on my thyroid.
Oh,
Just
yikes.
saying, join the club. Me joining his club. Is his thyroid or somewhere else?
It's a thyroglottal cyst. So it's above the thyroid. Before you're born, there's a little tube that goes from the back of your tongue to your thyroid. And then after you're born, that's supposed to dissolve completely and go away.
But it didn't.
And it didn't go. Sometimes it doesn't dissolve all the way and it leaves a cyst there. And it can do nothing your entire life or nothing until you're older or whatever. And then all of a sudden, like if you're sick, especially with an upper respiratory thing, it can get infected and start swelling.
So
and
scary.
So the first time he was swollen like a bullfrog and it was really painful and it was like impinging on his voice. So he was like talking really weird. And they told me afterwards it could eventually cut off his breathing too. So it's kind of a big deal to get it fixed,
Yeah, you
right?
do not want to mess with that.
So scary.
Yeah. So anyways, we're getting it fixed.
Wow. Okay, we're going to go on to our 5 POVs now. So here's the question that we're going to give our 4 POVs. There's 4.
You
of
can
us.
be the fifth.
Oh.
Math camp who?
Would you ever cut your hair really short?
What is qualified as really short? Because I've had like Edna mode.
Wasn't
for a
this
while.
supposed to be a bob? Then Lisa changed it to really short, which I think is the same thing.
Okay,
yes?
went.
Well, obviously I would because I did.
I had my Edna mode era where I literally had
Wait, what?
black hair that was like
Incredibles.
this short.
Yes, I don't
It looks like
remember
a
this.
wig. It was black
Wait,
hair
when?
that was this short, and I had bangs. I looked like Edna
Wait,
mode.
I cannot picture this at all.
It was 2019 winter.
Wait, it wasn't even that far. Oh,
You don't remember it
remember
was
that
that
one.
far.
It took like a year and a half to like grow it out fully, and now it's long. But see. Here's the thing: if I am like I'm gonna cut off my hair again, I'm gonna go blonde, and then I'm gonna cut it off. So I might cut my hair off again. I might go blonde. Who knows? Who knows?
You
But-
know? Oh.
Yeah, I would not, unfortunately, pixie ever. I just can't see it. In
I
my
don't
vibe.
see that for
That ain't
you.
it.
It wouldn't work.
I would not do
ain't
that
it.
either. I would not do a pixie, but I would potentially.
You look
Would
cute
go
with the bob.
shorter.
cute in a
I'm
pixie,
trying to
though.
picture
You
what you would
Not
do.
that you necessarily do it, but you would look cute in it.
You
I
look
looked
with the
kind of
bob.
good in that bald filter on TikTok.
So did I.
Christina.
I did not look good. I'm just telling you.
But I wouldn't do that. But like my hair is all like fried at the
Dead.
ends from bleaching it, so I'm kind of thinking of cutting off the
good
bleached
amount.
I
part.
could see you having a
Like-
the early
like some,
2000s
like,
With
Nice
your hair,
thing.
if you
Like
did your hair
this
like
is-
this,
Yeah, I
and
could
it was
totally-
like that short,
like
it would look cute.
Britney
I could totally
Spears
see that.
moment,
Yes,
kinda.
like that's what I'm saying. The Britney Spears. Yeah, I could totally.
I
see
just
that.
don't know how my hair texture would change being
Oh,
shorter if it would go
you're
really
right.
like too curly where I'm like I don't know. I
Yeah.
have to like
That's a good way
Way
to
to
Right.
find out.
That's a
Take
great
risk.
question.
The plunge.
So I'm open to it, but I'm not like, oh yeah, definitely next week. Like,
Yeah, for me, I don't know.
it's not for you.
What are we saying really short is?
Like
Really short to me is a pixie, but like
above shoulder.
Okay, the only thing I like about having short hair would be doing like half up, half down short.
oh, it's
cute.
really
That's
cute.
the one thing I could do. I did that once with my hair like looking like it was really short. And it did look good like in a picture. So I was like, that could be cute.
Yeah, you definitely could work it.
But I don't know what would have to possess me to do that. Like it would
Yeah.
have to be something really strong.
I mean,
because
most
I already did that. I already did that when I was 15, cut it to like here.
I
And I was
remember that.
so regretful. And I was like, I'll never do this again. I hated it. Every time I was in the shower, I was like, oh,
I loved my
I
short
hated
hair
it.
without bangs. I loved it. It looked so good. I loved it.
yeah. It's just something about long hair for me. It's just my vibe.
Well, and I feel like most moms do like the mom chop, but I think your version of the mom chop is your bun.
Yeah, I like when people have like short, like here-ish, and they like curl it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Kinda.
pretty.
Little, like
But I'm
beach
like,
wave moment.
Is that for me? I just don't.
I don't know if it's in your vibe.
I'm not seeing it yet. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, just try it. No. I will not just try it. No.
Yeah.
I'm way too uptight for that. So I don't think I'm going to do that
Yeah.
anytime ever. Pixie, absolutely not.
I would never do that.
I could not.
Absolutely.
Honestly,
not.
Mom, I could see you doing that.
What? Pixie?
That would be
I
wild.
could do
Oh, wait,
pixie.
Mom's already had. Do you know how
Wait, you
short her hair's
have?
been?
No.
She's already had
I had it pretty short, shorter than
almost a
this.
pixie.
Yeah.
She's already had almost a
Yeah,
pixie.
I remember in that
Queen,
picture.
I need to see you in a
She's
pixie,
done
Mom.
really short before. That's where Lisa gets it from.
Well, I didn't go as short as Lisa. I mean,
Yeah,
you said
but-
when you go really short, immediately I'm thinking of Lisa with no hair. I'm thinking
She
that
went really,
short.
really. That's really, really
Oh my
short.
gosh, if I had to do that.
She went like
That I would not
gold,
do.
basically.
I just don't
Not
have the
down
head for that.
No, I'm
It's
not
too
down
small.
for that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go to the main topic.
Our main topic.
All right, so we're going to talk about finding yourself. What first we should define that. What does it mean to find yourself? What do you think?
When you have a strong sense of who you are, like what your gifts are, what your direction in life is going to be, maybe should be, what you're maybe called to do, those kinds of things, as opposed to just going whichever way the wind blows and letting other people determine the course of your life, and then you know never quite feeling satisfied with that, thinking, should I even be doing this? You know,
Like being tuned into your God-given intuition.
Yes,
Like there's an
yes.
intuition in there that really does tell you things, and sometimes we're just like tuned out after years of conditioning to like listen to what everyone else wants to try to make everyone happy, which is impossible, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, guys.
Okay,
Cool. How, should we each go through? So here's what we're gonna tell you about a time when we were like lost our identities, you know, and then we're gonna tell you about how we got it back. Should we each talk about losing it, and then we each talk about getting back? Like we each talk about the time we were lost first, probably all together.
Sure.
Okay, what was the time in your life when you felt like you lost your identity? I can think of a couple for me. I don't know which one to talk about because I have like my teen, I would say when I was like 15, 16 especially, I was just like, who am I? And I just felt like so lost. But also, well, see, I was going to say as a mom, but no, that actually didn't happen to me. It like only happened for a couple months because I was really aware of it.
Well, that's a couple months.
It only happened for a couple months. I was kind of like, meh. Okay, yeah, I could talk about that. But I feel like sometimes moms will live in it for years. It's hard to get out of. So anyway, should I start? Does someone else want to start?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
what's
start
your
us off.
time?
Okay, so as a mom, when I became a mom, there was, okay, so the first is like that loss of like sense of freedom. Like you can't just like run out the door whenever you want, like spontaneously. You have to like put a lot of planning into it. You're like, does my kid need to eat? Do I need to change their diaper? Do they need to nap right now? Did I pack their diaper bag? Is it stock? Do I need snacks? Blah, 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 whatever. Do I need to eat? Do I need to pump? If you're breastfeeding, blah, 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 all these different things, whatever. There's a lot of things a lot of thought that goes into just leaving your house. So you lose like that one aspect of you, of that like freedom. whatever, right? Independence.
Absolutely.
You're not fully like just independent and free in that way anymore.
Oh gosh, no. Not
Which
even
is
close.
pretty shocking at first. It
very
is very shocking. And you're like, wait a minute. Okay. So that's like a part of your identity that's kind of like gone. And then you dedicate so much of your body, your time, your emotions, your thoughts, all this stuff to your children and not really to yourself anymore. So then you kind of become like in this new world and you're thinking about all these new things that you didn't think of before. And then you can, I think, forget about yourself kind of easily. You can even forget, like there was a time where I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even brush my teeth, which like never happens. I didn't even shower. It's been this long. Like what? That never happens to me. And it's kind of like, you do like forget yourself, like neglect yourself. And I guess I would say I kind of like lost myself for a bit. And I know sometimes with moms, they'll like not even, and you'll probably be able to speak to this a lot more, where you'll like lose like your interests or your hobbies or things you were doing like for you. And that can be, sometimes you'll feel really guilty, like you're not allowed to do anything for yourself. Like you have to spend every waking moment doing stuff for your kids. There's a lot of things like that can happen. But I was kind of aware of this going into motherhood. So I think I did have an advantage that I knew that wouldn't really help me if I was completely burnt out, dead all the time, then I wasn't going to be able to be a good mom. But I would say in the beginning, I was kind of like, there's a lot of things that you think of as a kid about what a mom means. Also like what it means to be 30. So I turned 30 and became a mom to a child outside the womb, all within 9 days of each other.
Oh, wow.
And those are two big things.
Yeah, they are.
Because you have this idea in your head of what it means to be 30.
Yeah.
You have an idea in your head of what it means to be a mom. You might not be aware of it until it actually happens to you. Then all the thoughts will hit you and you're like, wait, are 30-year-olds allowed to wear this? Are moms allowed to wear this? Like, that's what I thought. I'm like, I'm a mom now. Do I need to dress differently? I'm 30 now. Do I need to dress differently? Do I need to talk differently? Am I supposed to be more mature by now? I think I thought of a lot of things like that. Like, am I allowed to watch High School Musical? Is this weird?
Yes, you are.
Am I allowed to still
That's your
watch?
birthright.
Yeah, am I allowed to still listen to this? Like, I thought about a lot of things. Like, do 30-year-olds do this? And I went through a whole thing. Lisa talks about this a lot. I think a lot more eloquently than me as well. There's a big, there's a big dilemma in your mind of like, what am I allowed to wear now as a mom?
And she's turning 30 this year.
And that'll probably hit her then. And she'll be like, I'm 30. Am I allowed to wear this? And she'll probably tell us all about it.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, she will.
I had that when I turned 27. I was like,
Yeah, you're
so
like,
I'm late 20s. Am I allowed to wear all these beads? And I was like, yeah.
yeah.
I made some neutral bracelets for when I'm feeling more neutral.
Yes. Do you see what I'm saying? So I started to think about all that stuff and I thought like it meant you're not supposed to be like fun and energetic anymore is kind of what my mind was telling me, which doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I was just thinking like, oh, I'm not supposed to be any of these things that are like define like children or like that are common in children. It's supposed to be these different things you do that make you a parent. Kind of like the idea of people think like when you're an adult, you drink alcohol, you speak a certain way using certain adult words, you do certain adult things. And I questioned all that going into adulthood. I remember that was the first time this happened where I'm thinking like, so if I don't say certain words or if I don't drink, am I not an adult? No. Like that's not what makes you an adult. That's not what makes you mature. But a lot of times teenagers especially do this, will really go overboard on their language and drinking and other stuff because it makes you feel more mature because it's not a kid thing. But in reality, that's not mature. It's just not really a kid thing, but it doesn't also mean that it is an adult thing. So that's kind of the same thing here where it's like, okay, are there these certain things I'm supposed to drop because it's like I'm officially not a kid anymore, even though that happened a long time ago. It's like, I'm 30, I'm a mom. I'm not a child
and you're also
anymore.
a wife too. You're like, I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm 30.
Yeah.
I'm all these things.
So I think that hit me for a bit and it was also weird. Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing thinking of being a mom and also being a wife. And this is probably hard. You probably understand what I'm saying. It kind of feels like as soon as you become a mom, you're not a wife anymore.
Whoa.
Like I wasn't allowed to be like, almost like, I don't know how to explain that.
Like your allegiance shifted.
Yeah, it's like I'm just a mom now. I'm not a wife. I am wondering if Kath and Lise can relate to me. Almost like you're not like, you're just meant to do mom things at that point.
I do remember when Catherine had the twins, I was babysitting for her quite a bit, helping her, just going over and helping her with them. And not really babysitting because she wouldn't leave. She was afraid to leave the house. She had a lot of mom guilt. Like, if I leave, I'm a bad mom.
Yeah, Kath and I talked about this a lot.
And she was getting really depressed, And I said, Catherine, I'm here. They're sleeping. Why don't you go do something? And she was like, can I do that? And I said, well, of course you can do that. And I said, why don't you go get your nails done or something, do something good for you, And she was like, but I feel so guilty if I leave and do that, And I said, why? They're asleep. They're fine. I'm here. Nothing's going to happen to them. And you'll fill up your well and you'll be that much better for them. If you're empty, how are you going to take care of them? You have to do some things to take care of you as well. And that's not being selfish. That's just taking care of yourself. You're already giving up so many things, and which is a good thing. You do sort of lose an enormous amount of selfishness if you're a good parent. Kids kind of beat it out of you. That. You need to lose it, but that's a good thing. It's a good thing. You become a better person. Your character develops, and that's absolutely where you want to be.
But I will say, that's where. Also, I'll pause it there and end it there and say that's the place, that was the moment, is the first several months probably. So I guess it wasn't quite a year. It was the first several months. I remember when I came out of it. First several months, that's where I started to feel lost and started to question everything about what am I. Also, it's like pregnancy and giving birth and whatnot. When your body goes through all of that and then you start to wonder, like, am I going to be attractive ever again? Because you're all these things are supposed to not be attractive. Ooh. But then you question that and you're like, but is that true? All that kind of stuff. So then you start thinking, am I just a body that's been like almost like discarded? Like it's been used for its purpose and now it's been discarded. It's been cut through or whatever's happened to you. It's been torn, all these different things. It's bled. It's been stretched. It's been scarred, all these different things. And you're like, and that's what I am now, almost like discarded? And that's society brainwashing us.
Yeah.
It's objectification. Exactly. Looking at you as an object instead of a person.
Yeah. Exactly. And spoiler alert, no, none of that stuff. But we'll get back to that. So yeah, that's where I was at that point. I was at this point, I'm like, okay, so now I'm this person with this body, with this life, at this age. What does all of that mean for me? So Mom, I feel like since yours will probably be taking a wild guess as a mother of 11, it'll probably be a similar thing to what I was saying. I'm guessing, is that what you were going to go for a time you felt like you lost your identity?
Well, there's maybe a couple of times, and that's definitely one of them, because as your kids get older and they get in activities, pretty soon nobody will know your name. You will be Barrett's mom. Tristan's mom.
When people
Barrett's
say that,
mom.
I remember the first time, the babysitter at the time, when she's like, oh, this is Barrett's mom. I was like, I'm Barrett's mom?
Yeah,
you know what I used to be? I used to be Mike's sister everywhere I went. And I'll never forget the first time he was Christina's brother. I was like, oh my god.
Probably like, what?
Yeah, I was always Mike's sister.
I was always Mike's sister or Catherine's sister. One of those two.
Yeah. Well, it was just a feeling of, I'm just this slave. Basically, I'm just here to take care of these kids and I don't even have a name anymore.
Yeah.
All I have is a mountain of diapers and laundry.
Which child did they even refer to you as a mom of?
Well, it depended on what we were in. It could be you're the Cimorelli's mom, and it was before the band, so it had nothing to do with that. It would be like, if there was 8 of you on swim team, for instance, then you'd be like, oh, you're the one with all those kids, You're like, yeah. It would even get away from a name. It was just, you're the one with all those kids.
Oh,
or
so
you're the
like,
one who lives in that house on the hill, or whatever. It was never Lynn or Mrs. Cimorelli. It was just.
So like, I'm defined by having all these kids, and that's just my identity.
I'm defined by other people. Yeah, I'm not even defined by myself or anything that I'm doing other than having babies.
My home or the fact that I have children.
Right, and what activities they're in, because those are the people. Like, if I quit all those activities, like nobody would know who I was.
Okay, so now we can see from our last episode, we were talking about the parenting stuff, how parents could get so into what their kids are doing because that's like their identity.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, as a teenager, there were a lot of times where I really had no idea like who I was. I remember as a sophomore in high school, when I was a sophomore, most people are 15. I was 13. And
Oh my gosh.
I don't know why, but I just thought it would be cool to be sarcastic and slam people all the time, right? So
I cannot
did
see
that.
that.
Lisa, actually.
I had such an acid tongue, and I could rip you to shreds in 2 seconds.
That does give Lisa. It gives Lisa because she
But
went
you
through
know
that
what?
phase.
Everybody hated me after a couple months. They were like, they respected me from afar. Like, oh, she's cool, but we don't want to talk to her because we're going to get taken down,
Interesting.
And then the next year I decided I didn't like that. So I decided I was going to be really nice to everybody. Complete opposite.
Wait, was
right?
everyone confused?
Well, it was a different crowd because I was in different classes.
Oh, okay.
So this was
my
like in
gosh.
choir. I became the accompanist for the big choir that year. So this was a new crowd. And I was probably the most popular person in that choir. Everybody loved me. I was just so
Lit.
nice, and I was like sickeningly
unique.
nice, and I was like, I don't even feel like being that nice to these people, but this is my experiment, right? And
Wow, this
and
is
then-
intriguing.
This is
though.
really
The secret
interesting.
world of
then
Lynn.
when I was a senior, I decided to find kind of a middle ground and just be
Oh my
nice, but
gosh.
not
Too
to
nice.
everybody. I mean, like in terms of like, rolling over and being a doormat,
Yeah.
I just decided to be a little more selective and,
Use the acid
and
tub once in a
I
while.
felt like, yeah, exactly, but not in a mean way, more like,
A boundary way.
yeah, not to hurt people. So yeah, I kind of learned how to temper those things and find a middle ground that, was more what I was comfortable with. And I got more good, true friends that way,
Good for
so
you.
that was a good thing.
That's
Love that.
interesting. It's very intriguing. Okay, what about you two?
Okay, well, I don't feel like, this one time I lost my identity because I realized I check on my identity once a month. I'm like,
Where's in the closet?
who
She's like,
am I?
Where's my super
I'm like,
suit?
how do I feel? Am I going in the right direction? I reevaluate myself and my life so much that I feel like I'm just constantly checking in on my identity. So I don't think I really have a time to tell like that.
Because I feel like you've always known who you are.
Yeah,
kind of.
I don't just let that kind of get
With
away
your,
from me, I guess.
I feel
don't
like
know.
even as a kid, I'm thinking of the clothes you wore and stuff.
Yes, I was gonna say
You're
that.
always unique.
I think
and
she more
individual.
naturally, as just a personality, you were naturally more tuned into who you were, just as a
Yeah.
natural trait that you had.
Yeah, I don't know. And I felt supported generally. I didn't feel
Oh, yeah.
people are don't act that way, don't wear that, don't be that really. It was
Oh
just
my gosh.
cool.
No, I
If
thought
Lee
it
was
was
one of those
I'm like, okay.
mothers that told you what to wear,
Then we have a problem.
I will never forget the long puffy legging outfit with the blue ones with the orange striped witch
yeah.
tights under. Oh, it was
good.
iconic.
That's
Very
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I was gotta be me.
It's more
And-
natural for you to tune into what your intuition is saying and what you are actually wanting, not just pleasing everyone.
Yeah, but also it's it's not when I be myself, it's all these people hate me, but I'm doing it anyway. I feel like I've been well received in being myself. So I'm okay. I'm not that
Well, you,
offensive. I don't know.
in my opinion, you were always quiet. You
Yeah.
didn't force yourself on people or onto the scene, but you didn't want to copy anybody either. So you were your own individual person, and then you were there, right?
Yeah.
So people weren't going to get offended or be whatever, because you were so easy to get along with. But yet
Yeah.
you were very individual.
I definitely had awakenings of not being such a people pleaser anymore and speaking my mind more and all of that. But it didn't really feel and then I found myself. It was more I learned how to speak what I was already thinking and knew.
Yeah.
So
What about you? The time when you Photoshop braces?
Yes, that was fun. No, I thought that's what made you mature.
Wearing braces.
I thought
There we
that's
go.
what makes you because all
Grown
the
up.
shows at that time were like brace face, or they were oh, you're getting older, so you have braces and you grow up. I don't know. It's just what I thought would be make me older.
Mature. People
Yeah.
take you more seriously.
Yes, because I
had
think that I
braces.
was in a very hard spot of like so in the middle and so opposite of the people around me, like especially Alex and Lisa being right there. And even
my
you.
God.
Like I was literally
right.
like an alien. Like
You're so
Alex
different
and
than
Lisa are very similar in the way their brains work and their personalities are actually like a lot.
Yeah.
And I am the literal exact opposite. And so
That's so true.
I naturally have an inclination, I think, to gauge myself off of everyone else. I don't know if that's like a thing that I just made up or like for myself in life.
I think a lot
so
of
like
people do
No,
that.
I did
A
that
lot of
too
people
because
do that.
I thought Michael and Kath were so social. Like they're
Yeah.
exceptional at socializing. I thought I was like actually kind of bad at it, which turns out I'm not actually that bad at it. But they were just so
Yeah.
social.
They are exceptional.
and
at
they're
it. That's the
above
thing.
and
Yeah.
below me. And
They're
I was
way
like,
above
why
normal.
are they so good at this? And I'm
Yeah.
so bad at this. But turns out I
yeah,
wasn't that
they
bad.
were all like logical and
So you're
like,
like, I must-
factual, and
I
I,
must
was
be
just
so
this
illogical.
crybaby. Like I was just very like
That is so
emotional and
interesting.
illogical, but I could judge like the emotions and read other people very well. So I just had a completely different
Oh, a different gift.
gift. But
Yeah.
like naturally I always like my highest things are like community and the people around me. So I think that like growing up, I didn't know where I fit or who I was in really a lot of different ways because I was so used to being like, oh, well, this person's more this to me, so they must be that, and I
Yeah.
must not be. Like if someone was good at something and I wasn't as good, it meant that I wasn't good at it.
at all.
It didn't mean like they're better than me. It meant I'm not good. Instead of, oh, they're just better than me at this thing,
Like,
but I'm still good at it too.
Like I have to take that. Okay, so like my brother Alex is really good at math. So and he's better than me. So therefore, I'd have to take that completely out of my identity at
Yeah.
all that I could ever be good at math.
I will say I was actually good at math and did a lot of tutoring, but he is way better than me at math.
but you get what I'm saying.
Yes. But like, I think that it took me a long time because I literally thought like, oh, I'm like not like creative. I'm not funny. I'm a person who laughs
Well,
at
you
things.
weren't funny though.
Yeah, I know. I wasn't.
But
I
now
was
you
not.
are. I don't know what happened. And you guys remember, she was not funny for
I
so long.
wasn't. Because I
And
didn't
then
know
one
jokes.
day,
I just read books.
one day she got so funny.
One day,
I
Amy
don't
got
know how.
hilarious.
Something must have happened. I can't
started
pinpoint it.
Using really more like just the words and the phrases you used. You started just using really funny phrases
Maybe I
out of
just
nowhere.
started
You never used to
talking
make
how I
jokes.
wanted to talk.
Yeah.
and- because I thought that I wasn't funny.
weren't the funny
so
ones.
not
You're like,
funny people don't make jokes. They just laugh at
was
jokes.
Oh,
probably
so you'd be
it.
like, oh, I'm not funny. I shouldn't try to make a joke.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And then you're like, I'm just gonna make jokes. Then we're
Yeah,
like,
and I like didn't know like how I wanted to dress or how I wanted to be. I was just very much like I felt like just like lost in the middle in this like sea and very just like, ooh, what am I? But then I think once I figured out my identity, I haven't really lost it again, but it took a long time to get there.
okay, so we'll get into the how you found yourself. And you know what? I just thought of, I really need to confront our brother Nick because he's
not gonna watch this.
He was maybe he will. Maybe
I'll send this clip to
maybe
him.
we'll make this a short and then we'll post it on the internet and then
I'll
I'll be like,
send the
Nick,
clip
watch
to
this.
him.
No, I'll just tell him in real life. But he was like the other day. He was like, I don't know what you know about a social life. He said that to me about when I was a teenager. He thought I had no friends.
Wow.
And I needed to bring in like Kath to confirm. I need to bring in a witness.
You had friends.
I need to bring in a witness to tell him I had a lot of friends.
You did well because he only remembers
I had a lot
Malibu,
of
Christina,
friends.
where we didn't have as many friends.
Oh yeah, we had
But you weren't a
I
teenager
only
then.
had like
you were
3
like
friends in
20.
Malibu.
It was different. As a teenager, you were out on the town.
I had plans every weekend. Okay, Nick. He
You did.
He was acting like I had no friends, and every weekend I was home alone.
Well, he's the hyper social.
Excuse me.
so-
Did I have friends?
Yeah, you had a lot of friends.
You had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
What the heck?
You did.
Anyway, I need to confront him soon because he literally thought I had no friends. I'm like, what made you think I had no friends?
I think it was-
He was a little kid during all that time.
Yeah, 'cause he was, like,
8 when we
literally
moved,
5.
So he didn't. He wasn't tuned into any of
He
that.
did
at
not
all.
see you that you had all these friends because he was like 5.
No, he was literally 4, 5, 3.
So it makes sense.
Anyway, I need to confront him
Wait,
on that.
that's so
He
weird
thought
that
I was a
he's known-
friendless loser.
that he's
I'm like,
known Nick
what
since he
about
was,
my
like,
personality makes you
well,
think?
Christina, you're not exactly like out and about these days.
Oh, yeah,
so
not at all.
that
I guess-
that would make you.
I guess
think.
you could think.
You were though.
Yeah, I do not like going
You're
places.
always like, oh, I don't want to go.
I hang out with people at my house.
We used to go out to Starbucks and do your homework. We used to go for walks. It
It's
was
not
fun.
really helping my case. plans.
No, but like you always like were like had people you ran into, and
Thank
you always
you.
had plans.
Thank you.
You
People
always
knew
had
her.
plans, and
People
I
knew
would
me.
sit in your bed while you were gone and
People
watch
said
your
hi to
movies.
me.
That's better.
That's
for the cause.
really
You
the
had all
evidence.
There we go.
You had all your swim team friends, and you had musical theater friends.
Yeah,
and,
I would sit in your bed and watch your movies.
Okay, guys,
So
we get it.
you had
Okay,
all the
anyway, my
friends.
point is I need
Okay.
to take this to Nick and present him the evidence
Yes.
of the people who were there, aka Catherine. for
You and
instance.
Lisa and Catherine were always going around.
So
town.
moving on, let's talk about how we got.
How do we find our identities? How do we get them back?
How do we get them back? Okay, so let's go to my cliffhanger.
Oh,
So,
back to the cliffhanger.
I was wondering, who am I? What am I?
Am I
Whatever.
just discarded?
And all I did was I had to think about my definition of what it means to be a mom and what it means to be in your 30s, what it means to be an adult woman. And I had to think about that. What does it mean? Like, what can I wear? Do I have rules? What are the rules? I don't know if I thought of any rules for adults and what they wear necessarily, but I just thought of like, I'm not very comfortable in shorts as short as I used to be comfortable in. I'm just not comfortable anymore in those. It's not feeling right to me. So I cut some of those things. I'm like, I'm not really comfortable in that. I'm not really comfortable in that. And I just thought about what does it mean? So I thought about what matters to me, which really is character and values, integrity, being honest, being courageous. What does Brene Brown say? Valuing courage over comfort, stuff
Yeah.
like that. Putting a lot into my children, but taking care of myself so I'm a healthy mother, so I'm not resentful all the time, stuff like that. So I really just had to think of what's my definition of a good mother and a woman in her 30s that I want to be. What does that look like? And then you get to think of what it looks like for you. So that's what I did. And I had a vision of a woman
for you.
who doesn't have to leave behind like being fun and being childlike, not childish, but childlike. You don't have to
Childish is
leave-
not it.
Key difference.
You don't have to leave that behind. You can still be fun and energetic, and you get to play all these random, put on High School Musical and watch it with your kids, or play random fun songs and dance with
that's
your
one
kids.
of the benefits of having little kids is that you have permission to be a little kid again in those childlike ways.
Play
you
Play-Doh
can
with your kid.
dance like a crazy person, and they think
And
it's
then Bear
great.
will say, "Wow, cool move."
He did say that to me.
That's awesome.
So that's what I did. I redefined what it meant because I realized I didn't want to go by society's definitions of like what it means to be a mother, be a woman, blah, 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 all that stuff. Because why? If you look at like, this is how I live my life for a long time. If you look at averages of anything, like average statistics on marriage, divorce, on this, that, and the other thing, look at it for anything. And it's just on finances, whatever, on career and like fulfillment in your career. It's normally bad. So I realized if the average statistics on like everything are not so good, why should I follow that? Whatever society is telling me is like the definition of everything, what I'm supposed to do at 30, at 20, 25, 40. Why should I follow that if people aren't even ending up in a good spot? I don't
Yeah.
want to. So I realized I got to make my own path and I got to figure out what it means to me. And I'll make mistakes along the way, obviously, but I need to figure out what actually makes sense to me. So that's the journey I'm on right now.
I love
So
to
what
hear it.
about you? How did you get out of those places?
Well,
Find your identity. The mother of, you're the mom with all those kids.
Yeah.
How did you figure out who you were
Exactly.
besides that?
well, mine's a little different than yours because you're still working and doing things while you have kids. But I had to stop that after Amy was born because it was like I had a private piano studio up till that point, and after Amy was born, boy, it just got so loud.
I'm just the cutoff.
It wasn't Amy though; it was just the fact that there were five
She
little kids
wasn't,
in the house.
believe it or not,
Yet.
the loudness was actually not Amy at that
That was
point.
yet to come.
It was coming, for sure. Although I will say Alex rivals me on decibel level.
He can be loud.
Who was the
Very
loudest at that point?
Michael.
Probably you and Michael.
It wasn't her. Amy was chill.
No, Amy
I
was
a
the
very
chillest little
perfect
baby
little
ever.
child.
But so after that point, it was just all about kids and laundry and diapers and dishes and cooking and cleaning up all the mountains of toys and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And after several years of that, I was really like losing my mind. I mean, it was just, that was all I had going on. And then you guys got in musical theater. and the job opened up for music director.
Oh.
And I took it. I pounced on it. And, it only took a few days a week, and it was just a couple hours each of those few days a week.
And most of us were there.
And most of you were there anyways because you were in the show. And so it was like a slam dunk, no-brainer, something that was in my wheelhouse. It was very easy for me because that's what my degrees were in, was music. And so I knew how to do this. And the very first show we did, Starmites, there were a bunch of you were in it.
You got the music director? I forgot.
Yeah. And that was the first show that theater company had live accompaniment to.
And you played it.
I played it.
And so did Michael, right?
Michael, yep.
And then you felt like, I'm a musician.
Well, people started calling me Mrs. Cimorelli again.
Oh, I love it.
So
I love
weird.
it.
You're
I
like, they
suddenly
started-
had my own, identity back.
That's so
And
weird.
I had to buy, that Yamaha motif, which is a complicated keyboard. I had no idea how to use it. And I had 1 month to learn how to use it, how to program it, how to play the entire show. It's a 2-hour full book show with lots of different songs and musical interludes. And I had to be all the instruments except for guitar and drums
That
because I
music
had
was
those two.
iconic.
So it was, I look back at it now and I think, how did I do that? Because I think I
remember
had
that.
just had Christian. So I had a newborn and
Oh, my.
Christian was number, 9? So I had 9 kids, including
You
a
had
baby.
the newborn and 8 not so newborns.
Yeah. No, I just had Nick. I had 10 kids. And Nick was
Oh, yeah,
a
so that's
handful.
2003.
Nick,
2003,
oh my
yeah.
gosh.
So, so anyways, that went really well, and we did that performance 10 times, and a lot of people came up to me while I was in the pit, and they were like, "You guys are amazing! Like, this sounds so great. This live music is just wow, and their singing is amazing. Like, there's all these harmonies now. They'd never done harmony in that theater company before, and all of a sudden we had 8-part harmony going. So it was like a big leap. I remember when I took it on, they were like, well, if you could get 2 parts going, that'd be awesome. I said, I'm getting all 8. Watch me. And I did.
Lynn came out.
Watch me. And it was really fun, and then within a couple more shows, I was winning Ellie Awards for my music direction. So all of a sudden it was like, and then, Rick Wilson asked me to start writing shows with him, and we wrote a bunch of shows together. And all of a sudden when I was doing the dishes or changing a diaper or whatever, I was thinking about what song I was going to write for the show, and melodies were running through my head, and I was creative again, and all of a sudden none of that other stuff was a problem. It didn't even bother me. The mundane was fine because I had a
is so
creative
interesting.
element going on there. And I was getting my own identity back. I had my name again. And I
Love
had
that.
these things that were like part of me, So that was a really cool
That's
Doing your
Wow.
passion.
Well,
Love that.
that's interesting because I feel like for me, I've always had very strong, creative, hobbies, vision. Like, I always
Same.
have done that. And I wonder if that's part of kind of why I felt more like I have an identity because I was so,
that could be.
strong in that.
Oh, yeah. You've
that's
always been
interesting.
creative
I
and
don't
had,
know.
a vision.
And I've never stopped doing any of that in motherhood at this point. And I don't feel resentful and I've lost my whole identity and everything.
Yeah.
That is a big part of it.
That is interesting.
Interesting. That's really interesting, especially the name thing.
That is, I can't imagine. I'm literally just so not infringed or entangled with any other person really at all. So I can't even imagine that. I'm
Even- yeah,
no
it's
one
like-
to talk, no one to answer to, nothing.
Even sometimes if I go to something of Nick's, with his people, and I don't really talk that much, I'm like, oh my gosh, these people, I'm like, Nick's wife who doesn't really talk. I'm like, it's not really me,
Oh
but
my
sometimes I'm
gosh.
just don't really want to talk.
Nick's wife. That's interesting.
That's weird.
But you guys had an element of that, and you may not even remember this, but when you signed your record deal, when we would go to all those meetings, it was always like, okay, and there's the 6 girls. I'll never remember your names.
oh, that was annoying.
when people made a point to learn our names, it was very different.
No, it
they
really stood out because you could count them on one hand.
and
how
you
many people
feel
did
like,
that.
this person's looking at me instead of me as this entity product. They're actually seeing me as a human being for a moment, or it's just a tactic they're using.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I remember thinking if you were a group of 6 people going into a meeting with some, high level company like you were, they would make an effort before the meeting started to make sure they knew who they were addressing and what each person's role was, who they were.
Yeah.
But they never made any effort.
For some reason, because we're siblings, they
6
were
young
like,
girls.
yeah.
Don't even give them a name. Very interesting, Hollywood.
Yeah. I think it's
That
because,
is
especially
so-
because we were siblings, then it was like,
But also,
it also extra didn't matter.
that is so, now that I'm thinking about it, that is so
Disrespectful?
rude.
Rude?
It is rude. It is
Disrespectful.
very rude.
Because you're right.
Agrees.
In what world do you go into a business meeting and you're like, oh, I'll never remember any of your names, when you're meeting with, you went there to meet with that person. Why would you do that?
That's really
That
rude.
is
That's
so
kind of
disrespectful.
like-
We were just so used to that from our whole life
We're
that
like,
we didn't
oh,
really
it's fine.
think
Now,
about
like,
Well,
it.
you were used to, but I often
Rude.
wondered if it was difficult for you to individuate as you became adults out of this group identity
Yeah.
that moves along, and like,
Yeah.
no, I got to break out and be myself,
That's
Yeah.
why a big reason we latched so much onto the personality
Yeah.
stuff, because it helped show
It
us
did.
the differences between us, and we were really interested, like, oh my gosh, there are differences between us, and this is what they are, and this is why they're strengths, and this is why
Yes.
you have these strengths.
And I feel like we went through such a period of time, like, I don't know when that was, I don't know, a few years ago, of like, we're not all the same.
We don't all have
think
the same opinions on
was
everything.
probably
We
like
don't have
10.
to agree. I don't know when that was.
Oh, Kath and Lisa and I went through our own version of that
Yeah.
back like 15 years ago at least, where like we don't all think the same thing. People
Yeah.
would think like one of us said something, so it meant all of us thought it. And that
Yeah.
was really annoying. Like, we don't all have the same opinions.
Yeah. We're all very individual people.
That's a really good point for like identity.
Well, and I think that especially, I'll just, if everyone's done, I'll go to me.
Yeah.
Growing up already feeling like kind of in the middle, kind of like, what am I? Everyone like ranking us, I think really made that worse.
You mean
Online, all of our comments
You
would be like,
sociopath,
this
psychopath
is
comment
literally-
people.
I'm like 14, 15, like child, and everyone's like commenting, ranking us on best to worst, prettiest to ugliest, or whatever. Like,
Once again,
favorite to least favorite.
the disrespect. The absolute disrespect.
Yeah,
You
it's
people
so
who did that, who are
rude.
probably not
I
watching.
think a lot of it were like kids.
When they
but-
did, I don't think they.
Okay, but what would possess you?
Because I
to-
think
It's
when you
back to the whole
comment,
I don't
objectifying.
know. I love One Direction. He's my favorite. He's my least favorite. Like, you don't think about it. You're like,
You don't think that
13.
people
Okay.
are gonna like see it?
Okay,
too.
but to say that to their face, it's just so people do it to our face too. They'd be like, "You're my favorite," and I do
Oh,
think
yeah, that's kind of like social cues.
I do
It's
think
kind of
that's
awkward.
fair.
I
It
don't
is.
know.
It's odd.
Yeah, and it just
No,
like
but some people, it was just straight up disrespect. I gotta say, it was
yeah,
just
it was
disrespect.
weird,
But
and it
I just
had a
feel
lot
like
of
kids have a
like
mental thing
confusion
for that.
too, of like where I'm just this person that's in the middle of this thing, and I don't know who I am, and I'm not all these different things. And I think a big thing was like Lisa was like funny, Catherine was funny. I don't know why I latched on to funny, but like I really came into my own on that. But I was just like laugher. I just laughed at jokes.
The laughter.
I literally had the world separated into people that laugh, people that joke.
You know what? I thought that too, and I was like, I'm definitely a person who laughs.
Yes, but you also
I
have
don't
a good
try to
joke.
make
gosh.
jokes. No,
Aunt
people laugh when I
Lisa.
don't make real jokes.
Aunt Lisa constantly tells me Christina is so funny. She's doing more funny things, but she is so funny.
It's accidental. I gotta say,
I'm dead.
it's not
But
a real
I
gift.
think
It's
that-
accidental.
I really I don't know how this happened, but one day I was like, I don't know. I literally don't know how this whole thing happened, but I was just like, I need to start like putting myself out there, like meeting myself, figuring out myself. And it probably was more in my like
Interesting.
20s actually, more than
Like,
teenager.
I need to meet myself.
I was like, who am I? What do I think? Because I knew pretty much like what I believed in, who I wanted to be in the world, like integrity wise, how I wanted to move through the world. But I didn't necessarily know like what I liked. How did I want to dress? Like what kind of commentary do I have on things?
I
Like,
feel like Lisa's talked
do
about
I
this a
act?
lot. I wonder
Yeah.
if that influenced it. Lisa said a lot, like write down. Was that Lisa and Kath?
yes, she
and
did.
Kath, right? Like write down a list of like what you like, and
Yes,
they've
and-
said that a lot as advice.
I do everything Lisa says, so. But I was just like, So then I started to like put myself out there and like make jokes and like wear different things and like try new things and like Pinterest a lot of like, what do I like? What do I not like? And I think a big thing also of my identity was getting into like painting and my creative hobbies. I think that is a big thing. I didn't have them as much until I was older. Like I didn't write as much music, and I more just like played guitar and did some journaling. But like once I like started making jewelry, painting, writing, like
makes
doing a
sense.
lot of
Creating
stuff like
stuff.
that. Yeah. Then I was like, oh,
Theme.
this is who I am. Like, these are new parts of my identity. Like, painter is my identity. Like, all these different things. And I was like, wow. So I think that that's kind of what I did is I
That's a
just, like,
theme.
took stock of what I liked and just started doing what I liked to do and, like, making things up and, like, doing all these different things. And I think that that's what made me kind of more who I was.
Yeah, I think I'm realizing like all the things you guys are saying are things that have always been really important to me of like doing things I want to do, like having hobbies,
Wearing
having
what you wanna
creative
wear.
outlets, dressing how I want to dress, even though I'm like, I know this is kind of weird. People might think this is weird. People on the internet bullying me, whatever. Like it was just
Rude.
always important to me to like be myself.
Wear
I
those
guess.
bows.
And like I'm always like reassessing like, is this me? Is this a life I want to live? Like that's just always been something that I really
Value.
think about and value. So I guess that's probably why I don't feel as much like I lost
That
my
makes sense,
identity.
though.
Yeah.
I like that for you.
So hopefully if you guys are going through the same journey, which I'm sure you are, then that was helpful in some way. Let us know in the comments. Mainly I read every comment. Just not to brag, but I like to read the comments.
Too brag.
I don't.
Christina likes to read the
I'll probably
comments.
see your comment.
Just don't rank us.
Exactly.
Yeah, don't bring that disrespect. I'll just delete it. I'm telling you now. I'll delete
Unless
it.
you put me first.
Wow. Unless you rank Lynn first.
I'll go delete. I delete. You know, if I see something disrespectful, I just delete it.
Delete.
Yikes. Okay, so let's move on to Sister Spotlight. Each week, we put the spotlight on a different sister with her very own segment. We have, Get Real with Christina. I almost said it wrong. Sappy or Sassy Thoughts with Kath. Lisa's Corner, Amy's Current Crisis, and Lauren's Take. And this week, the sister with the spotlight on her is... Ding! I was trying to make it sound like a...
Lauren!
Okay.
Like a drum roll.
Lauren! It's Lauren's Take. We're going to
So-
answer your questions from Patreon.
Let me
Lauren,
first
okay.
just say that was not a spotlight. Amy doing the spotlight thing, she goes,
Yeah, we're supposed to be like
It's
putting the
supposed to be,
spotlight
like-
on them.
you know, like
Yeah,
on a
that's more like-
stage. Yeah.
If you want to be a part, if you guys want to be a part of Lauren's Take, you have to be a patron, which, as we said, is $5 a month, and you get all the Patreon episodes and our bonus content. We do Q&As with you guys too. So yeah, if you want to be a part of Lauren's Take, you got to be a patron. Join Patreon, linked in the description.
Oh, yeah.
This is my segment where I get to talk
Yeah.
and everyone has to stop for 1 millisecond to let me speak.
Okay, so I'm going to be asking the questions here
Oh no.
from you people on Patreon. Let's see. Christoph, I think, says, how's your ankle doing?
Okay, first off, my ankle has
Was always
always been fine. Okay. It
Yikes.
was a bone in my foot. Don't know which bone, but it's doing great. I actually am going to the doctor in a couple days to get my 6-week checkup.
Oh, good.
But I think it all should be good. It's feeling fine. I've been live, laugh, loving, not really even thinking about it that
good.
much. So it's
Love
good.
it. They also have another question, which I think is kind of interesting. Have you noticed changes in your singing voice in the last few years?
I don't know in the last few years, but like when I sing a song that like something that we did like years ago and I sing it again, I'm like, whoa, this is a lot easier.
I agree.
Oh, interesting.
Like I feel like I've gotten a lot like stronger, like more control.
oh.
Like when we were singing Cups the other day, I was like, oh, I can actually like sing this without being like, ah.
Love that.
Yeah, I guess.
That's funny.
But I feel like that was just a slow build of like getting older and practicing more. I don't know.
I feel that.
Practicing in the car.
Faith says, what's your Myers-Briggs type and what is your boyfriend? INFJ. She's an INFJ.
Oh, of course. I feel like INFJs always ask this. Like, I don't know why.
It's true.
I am an ISFJ, so we're
Similar.
brothers. And my boyfriend is an ENFP. Oh, love it.
It's so cute. He's fun.
We love the ENFPs. I married one.
Yeah, they're great.
Here's a question from Shamma. When do you believe is the right time to start trusting someone in a relationship?
What?
I don't know. It's kind of fun.
Trusting.
That's kind of funny. Wait a
what?
minute.
I don't know. Trusting someone in a... Oh, no. Not relationship, friendship. When do you think you're friends with someone and you can actually trust them?
Oh, well, I think it depends.
What are the
I feel like you
signs?
could be friends with someone for 5 years and still not know if you could trust them. Or you could be friends with someone for like 6 months and know that you can trust them. I think that it just depends on like what experiences you've had with them where they've shown to be trustworthy. It's like if someone's proven that they're trustworthy over a period of time, I think you can trust them.
Okay, I like that.
But not if it's like, oh, well, it's been 1 week and, we talked about everything and I know I can trust them. It's like, maybe give it a little longer than a week.
Yeah, I feel that.
But that's just me.
This is an interesting question.
No.
Sorry, this one's from Chloe. If someone were to come up to you in the store and accuse you of something, even though you have no idea who they are, how would you handle it?
Okay, so I'm in the store.
Some random
Someone's
comes up
like,
and accuses you,
I know what you did.
and you don't know who they are.
I think I'd just be like, I think you had the wrong person. I'm sorry, sir. And I would walk away. Because if I didn't do anything, I wouldn't be like, what? No, I didn't. Like, I would be like, I think something went wrong. I'd probably just try to get away from them as quick as possible. Just walk away.
I'm dead. Love that for
Are you fake laughing?
That's such an interesting question. What? No, I was not.
I thought she was fake laughing.
I can't hear. Laura says, this will be your last question.
Okay.
She says, what do you want your life to look like in 5 years?
What do I want my life to look like?
In 5 years. Do you have a 5-year plan?
How old?
You'll be like 30.
Yeah, I'm turning 25 this year.
Wow.
She's
Isn't
getting
that
old,
so
man.
weird?
You'll be 30?
I'll be 30 in 5 years.
I'll be 30 in 2 years.
Okay, what do I want my life to look like?
2 years, Christina.
Married,
Lauren's take.
has a child or a few, I don't know. I don't really know what else. That's kind of the only thing I can really think of. Didn't really think much further than that. I don't know. I don't plan out everything because I'm like, life changes. You know?
That's true.
What's that thing? God laughs as you make plans or something.
Okay, it's like you make plans and God laughs.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not trying to be laughed at by God,
Yikes.
I just go where life takes me.
Okay.
And that's the only place that I really am like, okay, yeah, that's definitely where I want to go. Other things, it's like, who knows?
Okay. Interesting.
Who could know?
Who could really know?
Not me.
Couldn't be her.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you to our patrons for submitting your questions. If
Yeah,
you
those are
want
some good ones.
to join in and have a chance to have your question answered, or by Lauren and Lauren's Take, or by us in our Q&As that we do like every week, right? Do we do them every week?
Yeah.
You can join our Patreon, $5 a month, positive community, and there's other tiers as well. Costs a little bit more per month, and you can do like our monthly live stream and chat with us on there.
Ooh.
It's really fun. So check that out. Wait, this is on YouTube, right? Yes. Okay, thank goodness. Check that out, YouTube people. Link in the description, and maybe try it out and see if you like it. Well, that's it. I want to thank our guest star, Lynn Cimorelli,
Well, thank you for having me.
one more time, and we'll have her back again. We know you love Lynn. So we'll have her back again. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Cimorelli podcast. Follow Cimorelli on Spotify and subscribe on YouTube. You can also find Cimorelli on Facebook and Instagram.